do you do, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Adolphe Menjou, and these are, you've guessed it, a set of blueprints. Not our usual map, perhaps, but they'll serve to locate this week's favorite story by that famous French author, Emile Gaboriau. You see, our hero is an apartment house. That's right, a building of cement and plaster, wood and steel, furniture and rugs, and that most important ingredient, a variety of tenants. The address is 96 West Franklin Street. We don't know the city. It could be Paris, London, San Francisco. It really doesn't matter which we choose. The most appropriate place in the world, a whole island full of apartment houses. The island we call Manhattan. I hope that you approve of my selection and that you'll meet me there in just a moment. Well, here it is. 96 West Franklin Street. But why would there be a story here? What makes this apartment building any different than the others in this block? They all look alike to me. The same brown stones, the same front steps, same windows, same doors. What is so unusual about 96 West Franklin Street?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Metropolitan Real Estate Company. Everything all right, George?
Fine, Mother Jennings, fine.
You look a little tired this morning.
Must be your imagination. I had a good night's sleep straight through.
On that awful bed divan. George, why don't you and Cynthia take the bedroom?
Mother Jennings, it's bad enough that we moved in on you. When we got married, I thought it was only going to be for a couple of weeks, but every time I find a vacancy, it doesn't seem to suit Cynthia. Sometimes I wonder if she... Holy smoke, I'll be late for work.
You'll be home for dinner.
Right on the dot.
Morning, dear.
I see George didn't finish his eggs again.
No, he was in a hurry.
I bet they were too hard. You ought to know how he likes them by now, Mom.
Cynthia, George is your husband. Maybe if you were to prepare his meals.
Oh, I'm not half the cook you are.
What I mean is, you really ought to have a place of your own.
Not trying to get rid of us, are you?
No, of course
Now, what
not.
would you do here all alone? Well, I'd be worried to death about you.
I'm sure I could manage.
You'd be absolutely miserable, and you know it. Oh, you better fill this. It's almost empty. It would be different if we could find a place in the neighborhood where I could pop in on you and... What's this?
It's from the real estate company that manages the building. I haven't opened it yet.
What are you waiting for?
Probably another raise in the rent. I wasn't anxious to find out.
You talk about George and me getting a place of our own. Well, if we weren't here to help with the bills, you could never manage on Dad's insurance money. Particularly if they're going to raise the rent again. Well, I'll be darned.
What's the matter?
This letter, it says the building has a new owner.
Oh?
And the owner is offering you a lease on the apartment at a lower rate.
What?
25% reduction.
There must be some mistake.
Real estate companies don't make mistakes.
But, that's what it says. 25%. Just imagine. After all the years we've lived in this building, that's the first time they've ever reduced the rent. Oh, Cynthia, isn't it marvelous?
I guess so.
All that extra money will make all the difference in the world. I wonder if anybody else got one of these. I think I'll inquire around.
Oh, before I forget, would you mind pressing my yellow taffeta sometime today?
Yes, dear. I'll be right back. Oh, Jean.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Jennings. Did you get a letter from... Go ahead, Mrs. Jennings.
Well, there was a notice in the morning mail from the real estate company.
About a lease and lowering the rent?
Oh, then you got one, too.
I just finished reading it. At first, I couldn't believe my eyes, but if you got the same thing, it must be true.
I guess everybody got one.
Golly, Mrs. Jennings, do you know what this means? Fred and I can get married right away.
Oh?
He said we had to wait until he made enough money so that we could afford a decent place to live. You see, he doesn't want me to keep on working after we're married. But now with the rent being lowered, we can afford my apartment and I can give up my modeling job.
Oh, that's wonderful, Jean.
Excuse me, I want to call him and tell him the good news.
Answer the phone, will you?
Hello. Yeah? What? No kidding. Yeah. Goodbye, honey. Holy smoke. I can get married.
Who can't?
No, I mean now, today. I can get married today.
You got a license?
No.
Then you can't get married today. There's a 3-day wait. Not that I speak from experience, you understand?
Oh, gosh, I thought I'd have to wait another year at least. You know, the way things are.
Yeah, sure.
But they lowered the rent on her apartment.
Huh?
Where my girlfriend lives. They cut it 25% without her even asking them to.